I'm in the process of prepping the equipment that I will need for the shoot tomorrow, which I had the pre-production meeting for in my last vlog. The camera kit that I'm going to be using is the Sony FX2 with the 24-70, using the Easy Rig as well as the SAC version of the Cine saddle. And I'll also have the Sony FX2, which will be flying on the Ronin S2 gimbal. I typically do a quick gear prep before these shoots just to make sure that all of the equipment is working and that cables haven't failed or anything like that since the last time that I used them. And just to make sure that all of the batteries are charged and cards are formatted as well. I'm not going to be doing any vox pops on this shoot since there'll be another camera operator capturing the vox pops portions, but I'm going to run a shotgun mic on the camera anyway so that I can grab any ambient atmospheric sounds just in case I want to use it in the edit. A company called Alvin's Cables reached out to me a few weeks ago now after seeing one of my videos asking if I wanted to test a couple of their cables. And the brand collaboration couldn't have come at a better time because I was actually looking for a new DTAP to LEMO cable for this monitor to run it off DTAP battery. The funny thing is that I've used Alvin's cables for a little while now. This SDI cable is an Alvin's cable, and we've got another couple of backup Alvin's cables, as well as an HDMI cable by the company. The two cables that they sent me out were a right angle to right angle XLR audio cable for the shotgun mic. I wanted a really short one because the one that we have currently, which is this one here, is quite a thick gauge cable and it's pretty large and quite long. So you have to kind of wrap the cable a couple of times around the handle to keep the cable management kind of tidy. So I asked for a shorter right angle to right angle XLR cable since it would keep the rig tidier. And these ones are nice because they actually kind of swivel. So I don't know if you can see that, but they swivel so that you can kind of reposition the cable for the perfect positioning for where your mic is in relation to your XLR port on your camera. So with this, should be able to rotate it like that. And this is my first time using this cable on this camera, so I'm still figuring out the best way to rig it. Slide that forward a little bit. On my FS5, and since I use a NTG1 on my other camera, it's a little bit shorter, so the cable's not as far back on this, but I should maybe just wrap it around there. And I should just be able to run this into there. And then I can kind of reposition this cable pretty easily, which is really nice to keep the cables out of the way and snag free. The secondary cable was a DTAP to 2-pin LEMO cable, which is in here. The cable that I ended up getting was a slightly shorter version of the one that I've currently got. So the one that I've currently got is 90 centimeters, so it's really, really long. So this is the original one, and it is super, super long. So you have to kind of wrap it around a few times just to keep the cable management tidy on your camera. And I've managed to crack the DTAP portion. It's still usable, but it's not really ideal. And I've had to kind of do a DIY super glue job on the base here because the plastic split. So I was looking for something that was a little bit nicer to rig up. And they actually made this cable for me in the length that I wanted. This is a service that they offer on their website, as well as on Amazon as well, I think. It's a 60 centimeter cable, much more rig friendly. So I don't have to cable management it as much. Got one. And let's power everything on. Oh, yes, and SDI cable is the last one I need. There is a proper protocol for rigging up your power cables and SDI cables when you're powering them off a DTAP, and it's power first and then SDI. And then when you're unplugging everything later, it's SDI and then power. And the reason that you need to do this is because if you do it the other way around, there is a chance you can create a short circuit from your SDI cable, which can destroy your SDI port on your camera, which is not ideal. When I worked at Offshoot, this happened a couple of times on, I think, some of the RE cameras as well as the Red cameras. I think this is more common with the 12G SDI. So I'll put a link to the documentation of why you need to do this order of operations when using DTAP power and SDI cables down in the description below. One thing I didn't mention with the XLR cable is that this XLR cable is actually braided. So it's kind of got like a material braiding on it, which is kind of nice. It's different to the plastic sheathing that you get on here. So it's a nice kind of differentiation, I think. And the power cable's got a nice rubber coating on it as well. In full transparency, Alvin's Cables did give me these products to test and keep. Money hasn't changed hands, but since I haven't had to pay for the cables, that can be considered payment. So take what I say with that in mind. I'm going to be honest with all of my thoughts and opinions on the products that they've sent out. This isn't a review though. This is just me using their products in my rig. And maybe I'll do a more in-depth review later down the line in another vlog after I've had a chance to use them properly. But from what I can tell at the moment, it's powering the camera, it's keeping the rig nice and tidy, and I'm getting audio levels through the mic. So, I mean, in terms of cables, that's a good for me. It'll be nice to see how they hold up over time. But I mean, this cable here, this XLR cable, I've had for at least 6 months now, and it's been going strong. And I have another SDI cable, which I use with my personal kit that I've had for nearly 2, maybe 3 years now, and it hasn't skipped a beat yet. In terms of brand collaborations on my channel, the brands don't get a chance to see my video before they come out. So they'll be seeing what my thoughts are about their products when you see them. I want to be as honest as I can with my thoughts about particular products, because I think that that's helpful for the brands to improve their products as well. So if you ever see me talk about a product, the brand hasn't had a chance to look at it beforehand, and all of my thoughts and opinions about the products and where they can improve or where they're good are my honest opinions. So now that all of this is set up, I think I'm pretty happy. So now I'm just gonna make sure that the cards are all formatted and batteries will be charged for this camera, and then I'll get prepping on the FX2. I've just finished doing a preliminary pack of all of the equipment for tomorrow's shoot. There's a few things that are maybe subject to change, but this is how it's looking so far. My main bag will be the Think Tank Airport International V2. I've been a big fan of using roller style bags for corporate work. It just makes it easier to kind of wheel things around, and it's a little bit nicer on my lower back. So in this bag, we have the 2 camera bodies, so the FX6 and the FX2, the 24-70 G Master version 2, 70-200 G Master version 2. This is where the viewfinder lives. Top handle for the FX6. We have a top handle for the FX2. Trusty handy dandy rocket blower, because you never know when you're going to need one of those. Rode Wireless Go 2 mic set. I know that I'm not going to be rolling audio tomorrow, but it's always handy to have these in the kit just in case. And all of the batteries are going to live in here. 2 batteries are on charge right now, so that's why they're not in here. And I should probably charge that one as well, because it's been sitting in the case for a while. If you don't know, these batteries discharge even when not in use, so it's always good to charge batteries before you go on shoot. The top of this bag is the Rode NTG 4 Plus. And all of your XLR cables and monitor mounts are in these two pouches here. And I'll probably slot the SD card somewhere in this case as well. So that is the main case done. In my backpack is going to be slightly lighter stuff and things that don't actually fit in this case here. So in the backpack, I've got the Hollyland Pyro 7 wrapped up in a gear wrap. And in this section, I've got my Hollyland mic stuff for my vlogging bits and pieces, as well as an Insta360 X1, X2, and a GoPro Hero 10, just for behind the scenes stuff, as well as some lavalier microphones for the Rode Wireless Goes, which should probably live in this bag so that everything is together. Gonna have a Zoom H5. This is a throwback to the, I suppose, the DSLR revolution days when we used to run dual system sound. Still really handy to have a external audio recorder, just in case you need to record stuff from a mixing desk or anything like that, which is what I'll be doing at the gala. The clients requested that we record the track from the desk so that they have sound bites that they can use in the final edit. So that's that. Got a phone mount for gimbal just in case for using the monitor and control app. Have a USB to Lightning or USB-C to Lightning for using the monitor and control app wired if need be, or for charging stuff. And I'm gonna put a BPU charger, which is the Sony FX6 charger, along with a multi-port USB-C charger into this backpack, because since I'm going to be filming a full day into the evening, I think I'm getting to location around probably 8:30, and I probably won't be wrapping until maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So having battery chargers on standby just in case, because you don't want to be in a spot where you're running out of battery, because that's not good. And then the last things are the DJI Ronin S2, which battery's on charge right now, as well as a secondary bag for when I'm on the show floor running around with the Easy Rig or the SAC Cine saddle, just for batteries and maybe a lens or something like that. So I have that on hand so I don't have to run back to home base to grab those. That's how everything is looking at the moment. It should be a good shoot tomorrow and we're gonna smash it. It's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be a good day. My primary role on the shoot was to capture overlay from all of the different stalls, as well as activations and educational sessions, so that they could be cut into a highlights reel to be shown at the awards gala later that night. The thing that I find most challenging in regards to filming event coverage is the fact that my setup stands out like a sore thumb. So I draw a lot of attention to myself, which means that people shy away from the camera more so than they already would if I was using a smaller camera. After running the Easy Rig for a little while, I switched over to the FX2, which was completely stripped down, and I was able to get some more moments that didn't draw as much attention, allowing for more authentic moments on the show floor. I got in pretty late last night after a big day shooting the expo coverage. It was a really good day, but a pretty long one, so I'm feeling pretty tired this morning. I'm just gonna back up all of the footage that I shot onto our hard drive so that there's data in more than one place. The team that I was working with had backed up all of the footage on their end because I had to do a same day edit as well. But I always like to have the footage on a hard drive and then we back it up at work and hold on to it for a few months just to make sure that there's no issues with the footage from the clients that we're working with, just in case we can give it back to them if something does go wrong or like a hard drive gets corrupt or something like that. I use a program called Post Haste for all of my file structure creation because you're able to create templates for the different types of projects that you might do. For instance, since this is a footage only project, I have a footage template that has a folder for all of the footage and whatever audio as well. I also have a video editing template, which is what I use typically for all of my YouTube videos and my vlogs. And that just has an additional folder. So you're able to quickly create different templates for the different types of projects you do so that everything's consistent across all of your file structures for every one of your projects. You can have parameters which you're able to change in the settings. So if we go parameters, you can have different parameters for the different types of things you might have. For instance, at work, we use project numbers and then have a dedicated project name to that project number for the client. So I've just created those, and you can change the type of the parameter field as well. And there's a few to choose from. This is a program that I've been using for a while, and it's really helped me with my organization and keeping things consistent across the board. After looking through my bags post-shoot yesterday, things aren't as messy as I remember them being. I remember last night I was trying to put things back in cases in a bit of a rush so that I could get out of the location, but past me thought about present me and packed everything in a roughly organized way. The only things I've got to do are to charge the batteries as well as get prepped for a job that I have on Monday. I know that it's a few days away, but I know that I've got a busy weekend ahead, so I want to get all my ducks in a row so that I'm not stressed on Monday. The cable that I received from Alvin's Cables was really, really good. It kept the rig really tidy and meant that there was less cable dangling on my camera rig when I was operating handheld. So I think I'm gonna get a slightly longer version of this cable because I really like the right angle cable and the fact that the cable can be pivoted and rotated to suit the configuration of your camera system so that your build is much cleaner and tidier. That's the end of this week's vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.